The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions as we welcome you to the 12th Horseshoe Podcast Super Bowl 59 recap. Jack Rizzo, Elijah Weintraub, welcome to the show, sponsored by Prova, an Italian eatery of Moonachie, New Jersey. Jack, how are we doing today?
Doing good, Eli. The 2024-2025 season's in the books, the 105th season in the NFL, and it was a good one, Eli. And it ended with, I think a rightful Super Bowl champion. I think they were the best team in the league throughout the season. We'll get to that in a little bit, but it was a great season, Eli, and it's time to start the road to the 106th season in NFL history, which begins on September 4th, and the game will be played, now we know, in Philadelphia.
Absolutely. Now, we both got the pick wrong for the Super Bowl. We both had the Chiefs winning, and that was wrong. The final score, 40-22 down in New Orleans. Jack's overall record for the show, we're going to announce that tonight. Jack's overall record for the season, 187-98. My record, you don't even want to know, 175-110. So Jack won the overall game picks for the year, so congrats on that. For lock of the week, Jack went 13-7. I went 18-2, so I went on that category. For upset pick of the week, Jack went 7-12. I went 5-14, so Jack wins again on that category. For Survivor, we both tied at 13-5. So that was interesting stats there. And of course, we got the Super Bowl wrong. All right, so let's get into what we need to talk about for the recap of today. First off, what was your one best thing that happened throughout the Super Bowl? Before we get into in-depth of the game and stuff, what was one thing that stood out to you most while watching this game, Jack?
The one thing that stood out to me the most was the Philadelphia Eagles pass rush, and I think this is what most people are going to say, but here's the thing. The Eagles, Patrick Mahomes dropped back 42 times in this game. You want to know how many times the Eagles blitzed in this game? Zero. Not once. They didn't send one blitz the entire game. Mahomes had 42 dropbacks, and that's a lot. Eagles did not send one blitz all game, and they still got a tremendous amount of pressure on Patrick Mahomes. 6 sacks, 3 turnovers. It was just a tremendous performance, Eli, by this Philadelphia Eagles defense. And Vic Fangio, who's been in the NFL for nearly 4 decades, finally has his first ring. And that whole front four, Eli, just did a great job all night. And this is kind of the Chiefs struggled with this a couple of years ago when they played Tampa in the Super Bowl. It was the same story, the pass rush getting home. And that was definitely what stood out the most. Like, if it weren't for this Eagles pass rush, they would have had no chance to win this game.
No question. And I think one big thing that stood out to me was the Eagles defense. They were ready to go. They blocked every target that Kansas City had. They were open at the right time, caught interceptions, which was pretty amazing. And that ultimately led for the Eagles to get a big victory there. We're going to go quarter by quarter now. I'll give you a recap here. So early on, it started as a 7-0 game with a touchdown by Jalen Hurts and the tush push. No surprise there. And the kick was good by Jake Elliott. Entering the second quarter, Jake Elliott makes a field goal to make it a 10-0 game. Cooper DeJean on an interception gets the touchdown, followed by A.J. Brown, who gets another touchdown, making it a 24-0 game. Chiefs had 0 points for 3 quarters straight. We enter the third quarter now. Jake Elliott makes it a 27-0 game after a field goal kick. Devontae Smith comes in, and he gets a touchdown, making it a 34-0 game. The Chiefs finally get their first touchdown of the game with 34 seconds left, thanks to Xavier Worthy. They did not get the 2 points, so it's 34-6 at the end of the third. Jake Elliott makes 2 straight field goal kicks, one for 48, one for 50, making it a 40-6 game. A touchdown from DeAndre Hopkins makes it a 40-14 game, and 40-12 is your score after final touchdown comes into play from Xavier Worthy at a minute 48.
Yeah,
like that.
40-22, right? I thought you said
40-22.
40-12. Okay.
40-22. And like that, the Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Now, out of all the plays that we've seen, Jack, which one would stood out to you the most? Like that great touchdown moment, or from both sides? What was your favorite touchdown that you had? I think
it had to be the Cooper DeJean pick 6. Absolutely. Because Multiple factors here. Like, number one, he's a rookie, of course, playing in the Super Bowl, which is obviously an amazing thing. It was his first career interception. It was his first career pick six. And the Super Bowl happened on his 22nd birthday.
Incredible
So
birthday.
what a best birthday gift you could have possibly asked for. So happy birthday, Cooper. And as a rookie, you're a Super Bowl champion. So congratulations. How about you, Eli? What's your favorite play from this game?
I had to agree before you slipped the words right out of my mouth. Cooper DeJean, that touchdown was insane. He's going to be on SportsCenter tonight at 6 o'clock. But what really stood out to me the most was Jalen Hurts. He was ready to go every single time. He was there with the tush push. He knew what to do every single time. He was definitely the big star of the night. Now, unfortunately, Saquon Barkley did not have the night he was supposed to have. Didn't get any touchdowns there. That was a little disappointing for many Eagles fans. However, there is no question that was one of the greatest offseason moves that Philadelphia has ever made in its history. And I think that was a fantastic move, and we'll see what happens next year. Eagles will get the 32nd pick in the draft. The Chiefs will get the 31st pick. Other things to talk about. What did you think of the halftime show? Kendrick Lamar and SZA performed a halftime. There was no streaker like previous years that run on the field. However, there was the Palestine protest during the halftime. But overall, though, what was your thoughts on it, though?
I did not really enjoy the show, Eli, but I will say I want to talk about something positive here. The tribute they did before the game for the people of New Orleans with Lady Gaga, that was fantastic. That was absolutely incredible. I was really happy about the fact they did that. You had her in that, Brady, Michael Strahan, Roger Goodell was in it, Gail Benson, the owner of the Saints, was in that video. It was just it was a touching tribute, Eli, to a great city such as New Orleans. And honestly, like, watching that, and the national anthem I thought was also pretty good. And
national anthem with John Batiste was phenomenal.
Everything before the game that they did was excellent. The halftime show, not the biggest fan of, but honestly, I didn't really care because everything before the game was outstanding, especially that tribute with Lady Gaga and everything that they did. That was excellent. So I was really happy to see that.
I really appreciate the lift every voice and sing. They really did a great job there, especially with the choir in the background. I thought that was great. They had to do like a New Orleans jazz, America the Beautiful. I thought that was amazing. And John Baptiste with the national anthem was phenomenal. And as you mentioned, the Lady Gaga and Bourbon Street, to do that was incredible. Absolutely incredible. And that was just such an incredible moment to see there. And that was absolutely phenomenal. So I want to give Fox the absolute credit there, because that was one heck of a job. And over 126 million people watched the game. In terms of halftime show, not a big fan of it. Again, you have to be into rap and you have to be into Kendrick music in order to enjoy that halftime show. In this case, I am not into that stuff, so I did not enjoy it personally. Still to this day, Bruno Mars Super Bowl 48 is still the greatest halftime show of all time. The last other note I have was a favorite commercial. My favorite one was the Stitch commercial prior to the game, running on the field. That was pretty good with Disney and Joe Buck. That was pretty good.
I have to agree. I have to agree. The Stitch
any other thoughts about the Super Bowl?
What is your favorite Super Bowl snack, by chance? Do you have one?
Okay, I don't know if it's a snack. I mean, because we do tacos in our family.
Oh, really?
We do tacos. That's our thing. So we have tacos with chips. We do Moe's basically.
That sounds perfect.
Yeah. So we do Moe's basically. It's just tacos and chips, and it's basically like a Moe's dinner. Yeah.
That sounds perfect. Can't really beat that.
What about you, Jack?
It's tough. I like pigs in a blanket. But I don't ever really eat them, but only on Super Bowl Sunday. Chips, usually food-wise, sometimes we do some different. Sometimes we'll do pizza, other times we'll do Mexican or something like that. But it's kind of interesting because I feel like whenever I watch Super Bowl, I'm so focused on the game, sometimes I don't have time to eat. Honestly, I'm not really a big eater during sports games. So, but if I had to eat something like that, halftime, that's a good idea. Yeah,
there's a good idea. Halftime. I mean, yeah.
But Eli, before we wrap up, though, I do want to point out something really interesting. So the Eagles now, a couple interesting things, actually. So the last two Super Bowl winners who scored 40 points in the Super Bowl were both the Eagles. The Eagles, and they're the only two. The Eagles are the only team
that's top three-peats.
2 decades. No, they're the only team in the last 2 decades that have scored 40 points in the Super Bowl, and they did it twice. Before that, you have to go all the way back to 2003 when the Tampa Bay Buccaneers put up 48 in Super Bowl 37. And yes, you did mention the Eagles also broke up 2 three-peats, which is absolutely mind-boggling. And
the Patriots and the Chiefs.
That's right. The two of the GOATs. I don't know if it's tough to figure out where Mahomes is right now. Brady's obviously over him still. I think Montana's still over him, but I think Mahomes is 3.
Listen, if he would have won the Super Bowl, you could have definitely added him to the category. But because he lost that Super Bowl, lost his opportunity to three-peat, you cannot question that Tom Brady is still the greatest of all time. Now, that does not mean Patrick Mahomes can catch up to him. That does not mean Patrick Mahomes can catch up to his record, because he still can absolutely do it. There is no question.
Not
And
even
there is
30
no
yet.
question that we will see him in the Super Bowl, whether it's next year or the year after. We will see them again. There is no question, because that is just how this Kansas City team is. Will he beat Tom Brady's record and everything? We will see. Personally, though, I'm amazed, and just I think he will do it. But right now, Tom Brady is still the GOAT in my book.
I will ask you though, Eli. Who would you take, Mahomes or Joe Montana? I know they're two different eras, but Montana has 4 Super Bowls. Mahomes has 3.
I think I would have to go to Mahomes, because I think he knows, like, he knows everything at this point. I mean, I know Montana, really good guy, had it all, but I just think Mahomes right now, he's got that young blood, and
It's
he's got it.
close. I'd still take Montana just slightly. I mean, hey, I think Peyton Manning isn't too far behind Mahomes. I mean, Peyton Manning
Correct.
did win 5 MVPs. Mahomes has 2, and I
But
think
he did
Brady
lose the
won
kick
3.
of destiny to Eli, and
He
3
did.
Pro
So
Bowls
guess what?
straight.
Guess what? Eli is still undefeated at the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, I will say though, Eli, if Mahomes really wants to pass Brady, he has to win 8, because if he ties Brady at 7, we have to remember that Brady is 2-0 against Mahomes in the playoffs. The 2 times they faced off in the playoffs, Brady beat him both times. So
Oof.
unless Mahomes beats him out in terms of Super Bowls, I think Brady will always be the GOAT, especially because he won it on 2 different teams. And
I agree.
his first year in Tampa Bay, they won the Super Bowl. Like, who could have ever expected that?
And it was a home field advantage for the first time ever.
Yeah, first time ever. And then the next year it was home field advantage again with the Rams.
And
I
they
will say,
still won.
one more thing, Eli, before we wrap up. I'm sorry,
Yep.
but I was just gonna
Go
say
ahead.
that going back to the fact that Mahomes was sacked 6 times. That is the most times he's ever been sacked in his career.
They played horrible.
Yeah, exactly. And this is all. He's also this also the second most sacks that a quarterback has suffered in the Super Bowl. The most was nearly 5 decades ago. Roger Staubach in Super Bowl 10 was destroyed by the Steel Curtain defense.
Incredible. But yeah. And yeah, I think really the Chiefs played horrible game. Mahomes played horrible. This, I think, one of the worst performances I've ever seen. Now, some of the ref calls were definitely interesting. I know that's one thing we didn't talk about yet. The ref calls. I know the first call, they called pass interference on Philadelphia, should have not been called. They called it. And I thought right from there, Kansas City had it. It was still a scoreless game. It was like, that's it. Kansas City just won it just because of that. We know the refs on their side. And it turns out we were wrong. I think there were like 2 bad calls maybe the whole game, but it did not factor in because Philadelphia was still the better and dominant team throughout the game.
No, I thought the refs did a great job in the Super Bowl. I think Ron Torbert is one of the better refs in the league. I've noticed that the last couple of years, so I'm glad they had him officiate the Super Bowl. And outside of that call, maybe like 1 or 2 other calls, it was a pretty fairly officiated game. So
Yeah.
give credit to Ron Torbert for that.
All right. Well, that is it. The Super Bowl champions are here. The Eagles. We will have one final show before our official offseason, before we go to every other week.
Wait, Eli, I'm
Okay.
sorry. Before we wrap up, I mean, just I want to ask you this quickly since it was a bit of a short show and we didn't get to talk about this. I know you don't really watch basketball, but what are your thoughts on the Luka Doncic trade?
Oh, that was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. But
I-
between Luka and Butler was insane.
And guess what happened to Anthony Davis in his first game as a Maverick?
Yeah.
He got hurt.
I know.
Again. Oh my God. That might be the worst trade in sports
But
history.
Luka, I mean, really, I was embarrassed. I mean, really, Luka did nothing wrong.
I
He
guess
belonged in Dallas. The fans wanted him. It was so sad.
amazingly, Jerry Jones isn't the dumbest general manager in Dallas anymore.
I know, it's sad.
Ugh.
It really is. But
it's
Jimmy
terrible.
Butler to the Warriors, that was a dumb one too. But different argument for a different day.
Yeah, we also had De'Aaron Fox to San Antonio. We had a couple. I'm forgetting a couple other trades, but yeah.
There was a lot of trades. Yeah. Well, that will do it for today's edition of 12 Horseshoe Podcast. You can join me on Saturday mornings at 10 o'clock where we talk about all sports and sports with Mono Mono. And that will do it for us. We will see you all next week for our finale recap of the season. From Jack Rizzo, I'm Elijah Weintraub. Go Seahawks, go Devils. Have a great night.
Go Colts, go Ravens.